when you spoke to the general or to any of the people who were either eyewitnesses or part of the retrieval team, who actually saw the ET, whether it was the one that passed or the one that they captured alive, are the images that we see of aliens accurate? Are they these short creatures with huge heads, big eyeballs?
Not really. I mean, there are some that resemble that a little bit. There's one species that's about 39 inches tall, but the skin color of sort of a brownish gray, no hair, very fine lips, no external pinna, ear flaps. The chimpanzee ears we have. They don't have those. They just have an opening. And there are others that are much larger. Remember, there's at least 60 to 70 species that have been cataloged, the people I've worked with. I think Sergeant Stone said there were, at that time, 68 or 69 species. And some they're various sizes and what have you. So a lot of that's sort of a caricature in pop culture. I'll also just say, be careful of what's out there in that kind of public domain. A lot of that is disinformation, false information. Because the ones that are the caricature you're talking about are actually man-made ones that are made to look alien and aren't. Those are the ones that are using all kinds of technologies to quote-unquote abduct people. Those aren't being done by extraterrestrials. Those are being done by the fake aliens. And we have a whole dossier on that, going back to the late 50s, early 60s. The Betty and Barney Hill case everyone's heard about, that was one of our anti-gravs with some good stagecraft, making it look like an aliens abducted that couple. Absolutely. Now, why would that happen? Is because there's a certain rogue element that want to create the specter of a threat from outer space. Because really what they want to do, they want to create a global totalitarian superstate where the people are united against some alien threat. And that is the super big picture that people need to understand. It's why I would say 90+% of everything out there on this subject is some type of disinformation that's being curated for its what's called psychological warfare value. It's a complex problem. And actually, that agenda started in 1953 at least. I have a document from a sitting CI director, General Walter Bedell Smith. And CI Director Smith in 53, in a document we acquired, describes to the Psychological Strategy Board of the CIA the psychological warfare value of the UFO subject. And then there's a colleague of mine, Dr. Jacques Vallée, who was sort of like his work became the sort of inspiration for the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind that Steven Spielberg did. And he won't release this because I think he's been threatened, but it's a CIA document from 1985 where it describes the CIA conducting alien abductions in Brazil and Argentina on poor people in remote areas using man-made UFOs that are these anti-grav devices and specialized things that look like an alien, but it's actually a robotic, a very advanced sort of device to advance this agenda of fear. And it actually says in the document the exact words from 1953 for psychological warfare value. Because here's the question. If there's a group of people, and there are, who want to be able to create further global dominion, but not on a path of peace, but of endless war and conflict and control through fear, you've got to have a bigger enemy than the Taliban. You've got to have a bigger enemy than, you see what I'm saying? So they're trying to create this mega enemy. And it's been a 70-year process. Now it's coming to a head because, unfortunately, the corporate media, not you, are sort of lapdogs of this covert group because it's all big money and big corporate integrated systems. And so the narrative that you end up seeing pushed through internet and through big networks and what have you, is the threat of the UFOs. Well, there is a threat. The real threat, however, is not from the extraterrestrial ones. It's from the man-made ones, the rogue man-made elements that have studied the ET craft, perfected a lot of their systems, and then have weaponized them and have turned them on into these sort of frightening episodes. Another example are the animal mutilations you hear about. I mean, the top doctor in the world that investigated the first one of those, who was a colleague of mine, he's passed away, concluded that that was being done by a black ops team, a special forces team that had a lot of these advanced technologies, and it was being done for both experimental reasons and getting biological materials to be used in experiments by carving up these animals, but also for their psychological warfare value by leaving them out there, making it look like it was an alien mutilation. So I always tell people, be very careful on this subject. I would say 9 parts in 10 of everything you're going to come across is very well developed disinformation.
Interesting. Wow. So much today. Every time you speak, you give so much information. I almost don't know where to go next.